I got the idea today that some of the source books of Bon are going to be translated fairly soon. Because I was looking at the what was available, and there's a few source books available already, source documents, which is different than um, descriptions and things like that. So I decided to buy what looked like the um, everything you need to know about the topics so that you can access the source documents, which is like, what was it, like 9 different books. Everything that I didn't have of Tenzin Wangyal Rinpoche, and a couple of Nyima Drakpa books, which I need to get a couple more next month, but I don't want to deplete my emergency fund. Because he's done a what looks like a Sadhana and a source book already. The what's the 37 or something like that, the 60 something or another. I don't know. A whole bunch of numbers of stuff, and the Red Garuda practice, which I didn't get. What I did get was the one that's called A Mirror Something on Bon, on Dzogchen, and the introduction to Bon. And then I was just going to get Tenzin Wangyal Rinpoche's book on Dzogchen, but then I started looking at the other stuff, and I was like, yeah, they're going to publish the source documents. So anyway, so I went and I got those, and so I'm going to have a lot of reading. Those are the books I kind of curl up with on the bed, whereas the sutras and things like that, the sutras and tantras, I sit on my seat with my desk and try to maintain good posture while reading, and try to stay. I read, though, tonight in the book that I do have until I hit failure. Like, I'm just spacing off. Yeah, I think I went through these words, but it just in one eye and out the other. And so I read to failure, but I went through all the practices of the Salung, and I also watched Alejandro Chaul with Guru Viking, and watched one of his videos on Tibetan yoga. I have his Tibetan yoga book. I turned to the appendix section of the commentary from his guru and started going through some of the practices on that. This one's a difficult one, but you have to try to figure it out from the writing. And I remember my guru saying something about that and feeling like I was cheating to buy this book, and then it didn't have the cheats, which was the pictures and stuff. So, but I don't think you're supposed to stand up after every move and jump up and down and wiggle. I think you're supposed to wiggle from the ground. I'm not sure why he's doing that. I also think you're supposed to hold your breath, just like with the Salung. But he says do the vase breathing, and one of the things that starts happening when you're doing the Salung is that there's a vase breathing where you hold it in, but there's also a vase breathing where a lot of air is escaping. It's not a lot, but you're breathing in and out very, very subtly, and you're still holding a huge amount of air in your lungs, but you're still doing a little light air exchange as you're moving, because you're not plugging your nose. And as you move, there's air exchange. And that's why you do the hung pat at the end. So it's interesting to see how people do these things. And, how country boys do. And, but I shouldn't say these things so much, but yeah, I had a dream last night that my son was thinking about building a house, but his idea, the ground was muddy, and it was like a lot where we could put a house, and the neighbors were kind of nosy, and I decided to volunteer at IU for some reason, but the ground was just completely mud, and I wondered why it wasn't washed out in gullies. And he was just kind of looking at it, trying to think about where to start. And I think the message is that he wants to do something, but the idea is still unclear. It's still a muddy idea. And I had the thought while I was taking a shower that probably when we get to retirement age, because I'm not sure what our age difference is, to be honest with you. Legally, it's 1 or 2 years. I'm pretty sure I'm older than they say I am. But anyway, maybe not, because my husband was a mad scientist and a sorcerer. So who knows? I could have had a kid when I was 1.5 or 3, but I'm pretty sure I was older. Maybe I wasn't.